Common values, common goals, common sense. The Common Sense Podcast with Semi Bird.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 33. This is Semi Bird, and this is Common Sense with Semi Bird. We are vastly approaching we're making history. We're approaching the primary election of our lifetime, I believe. And this is going to be historic. This is not something you want to set out. This is not something that you want to just say, yeah, I'm worried about, whether my vote's going to count. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to be the person when someone says, who did you vote for in 2024's governor's race? You want to be that person. I promise you that. This is huge. It's our state, our nation is on the precipice, and we, the people, have an obligation and a civic responsibility to self-govern, to do something about it, and this is our time. So when asked by your grandchildren, maybe, or someone else, well, who did you vote for? I hope you have the right answer, and I hope it's me. I hope you choose our mission. I hope you vote for Bird for governor, because we need someone who will bring the change that Washington State needs. We don't need any more of the same. We need something different. We don't need any more career politicians. We need a career American who will actually bring the change that we need for Washington State. And so let me get to the housekeeping. As always, we are streaming live from Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. We have questions. We have a chat window to the left that just popped up. And I hope everything's working, everyone. I'm going to look for maybe a chat answer on that. And then we have questions that were submitted in advance. Never look at these, so I haven't looked at them. I have never seen anybody use any profanity, but that would be the only thing I would not say. So we're upfront and transparent about the questions we received. And so we're going to take questions from here. We're going to take questions from here. And this is a window that has feed from multiple streaming platforms, as I said earlier. So be patient with me. If you guys have a question for me, please make sure that you put question marks so I can't miss it, because there's a lot, and a lot of people are going to be commenting and chatting in this window. It's going to be crazy, but it's going to be great, and I'm excited. It has been nonstop. As you guys know, this is not the campaign that campaigns from the basement. From day one, we've been pushing hard. We've been pushing hard in Snohomish County, King County, Pierce County. I mean, all up and down the I-5 corridor, the peninsula, the islands, eastern Washington, and we're all over the place. Yesterday, we were in Yakima, packed house, and thank you, Yakima, for hosting us. It was the Yakima Liberty Caucus, Republican Liberty Caucus, great organization, great people. It was at a restaurant. And I'm not sure I can list a restaurant without getting in trouble, because you know how people are these days. But packed house. They had the meeting room, and I'm not sure if they underestimated our support in the Yakima County area or Eastern Washington. But people showed up. The house was packed, and it was great. And we had to open up the room to the next section of the restaurant because we doubled the capacity. And I was right in the door speaking to both rooms. It was fun, but great people, great event. The night before, I was in Mossy Rock on the other side of the state in Lewis County. Oh, boy. The folks from Mossy Rock would have thrown something at me. So Lewis County, it was great. We had a forum there, questions and answers, just like I enjoy. I love doing the questions and answers. It gives you an opportunity to interview me. That's why we're doing this podcast, so that we can engage with you, so that we can conduct an interview. And that's what this is. It's an interview, and I'm applying for a job. Let me get seated here and comfortable. So I'm going to look to the left. I'm going to say hi to everyone. We have a bunch of folks on board, and I'm going to look to see what we have going on over here. And thank you, American PCO. Thank you. We are rocking it all over the state. We're everywhere. And Siobhan Shem, hi. Good to see you guys. Carrie, thank you. Gosh, if I miss someone, this is something I do terribly. I'll start talking about someone and then I leave someone out and I can't help it because I'm often in the moment. So when people say that term organic, it's nothing made up. It's just the way it is. Well, it seems like I'm live streaming life all the time. But thank you everybody for your support. I cannot thank you enough. Karen, you've been with me for it seems like the whole time. And it matters to me when you guys show up and you support. It's great. So Barab says, "Hey Semi, I heard that you started airing ads on television. Can you show one for us on the stream?" You know, Barab, you have a higher regard for my technical competence than I really do. I don't want to chance it. If we can, I will. And perhaps we can, but I don't want to promise something I can't deliver on. Maybe I can. We'll see how we do. But they're on Facebook and they're on our YouTube channel, so you can find our commercials there. But let's talk about what Barab said. So here's what I want to do. And again, I'm going to keep positioning my chair because I did a couple adjustments, you guys. And so again, live and as they say, organic. I'm doing all kinds of stuff here. My friends, we started our commercial campaign, and people said before, well, why are we not seeing you on commercials? You know, Dave Reichert's in commercials. Bob Ferguson has commercials. Well, you know, they have the establishment, big donor, cabal, oligarchs with them. I have We the People. And We the People don't all have millions of dollars to contribute to a candidate, no matter how you package the PDC donations. It was strategic for us. We were always going to run commercials, but strategic. And here's what I mean. When? How many? Well, we're in all platforms, as you guys are going to start seeing. I mean, someone said to me last night, saw you on the cooking channel. Very cool. So we're all over the place. And yes, strategically now. Ballots just dropped last week. So you start seeing commercials. And then first. Well, they put me last on the ballot first for Washington, but psychologically, what you last see, what you last remember, often comes just in time. And so I'm hoping people will see the commercial, but I'm also hoping people have been tracking us for 2 years. So thank you for noticing. Hi, Dee, my friend. It's good. Thank you so much, Dee, for everything you're doing. You guys are amazing, you and so many others. And we're going to stay with the plan. We're going to stay with our strategy because I teach this stuff and I've lived this stuff, whether it's in combat, whether it's in strategic operations, counter narco-terrorism, human trafficking, as a federal officer with the National Nuclear Security Administration. You know, strategy and joint interoperability is everything. Without a plan, you're bound for failure, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So we have a lot going on. We have thousands of followers on Facebook, X, Instagram. I mean, we have coverage on all different platforms, and we're utilizing all platforms, streaming, everything that's available. So for such a time as this, here we are. So thanks for noticing. Here's another one from Kyle. Polls show you behind. How do you get the powers in the Republican office to put the pressure on Reichert to stop the party or to support the party and stop diluting the vote? So, Kyle, you know, the Reichert supporters could say the same thing to me. Simi, you know, yeah, sure, you won the nomination and the endorsement of your party state convention. You crushed it with a 72% supermajority. Yeah, sure, you won that. Yeah, no, you did sign a pledge that says that if Dave Reichert had showed up and honored his delegates that did show up and honored the Republican Party by showing up, if he had signed that pledge saying that if the other candidate wins the convention, that I would get behind that candidate. And I'm babbling, so let me just put it plain and simple. I signed a pledge saying that if Dave Reichert had won the nomination and endorsement at our state party convention, the largest delegation in the history of all delegations in Washington state, whether Democrat or Republican, I signed a pledge saying that I would back that candidate. So if Dave had won, I would have stepped aside, endorsed and supported Dave. He didn't do that. He chose a different path. Trying to make a deal with the candidate committee to disqualify me was the logical path for the other side. It didn't work out. We, the people, stood up and said, no, we're going to do it as planned, and we're going to have both candidates. We're going to do paper ballots. We're going to do counting with real people, no machines, and we're going to have poll watchers count the ballots, and again, 72%. So, Kyle, I'm not going to ask anybody to step out of the race or to get out at this juncture in the game. You know what? Dave Reichert has chosen his path. He has every right to run, just like anyone else. There's 28 or 6,000 other people running for governor, and yeah, it's a little disturbing to me because I think one person said, well, I just want to get my poll or my numbers up for a social media platform. Who does that? And, we've had the good space guys and all this other stuff. I don't get it. I'm a different cat. But, as I've always said, I don't judge. I'm human, but I don't judge. Each their own. It's America. Freedom, liberty, opportunity. No, the primary is the primary. And it's up to we the people to vote. It's up to us to vote early. It's up to us to spread the word. We have these commercials out. I'm going to ask you guys right now, if you go to birdforgovernor.com, go to birdforgovernor.com right now as I'm doing this podcast, if you would, please. And if you got $50 that you can kick in towards our commercial to sponsor a commercial, $100, it costs anywhere from $400 to $3,000 per commercial. This is big money. This is why the big money donors choose their candidate, right? And then go all in for their candidate. And this is why we, the people, always get stuck last and discounted, marginalized, and ignored. That's why the elitists always get their way. But this is different because we budgeted and we worked harder every single day. And then we have you guys, so many people that just give of their heart, give monthly. But if you can give something, if you want to sponsor a commercial, max donation is $2,400 per person per household. You get a household of 4, that's $2,400 times 4. Please give. And you can do that. Let's focus on the primary. Let's sponsor a commercial. And then when you see a commercial play, you'll know that you either paid for the whole darn thing. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, I'm self-governing because I'm blessed and I could give. So go to birdforgovernor.com right now and give what you can. $5. We'll take a $5 sponsorship of a commercial. It matters. Mostly you matter. It's not the amount of money you give. It's you turning out the vote. You waving a sign. You telling a friend. You coloring in that box, telling everybody who you voted for, and making sure that you get it in a Dropbox to the auditor's office or just getting it in the mail. But vote early. Self-governance, my friends, you make the difference. We, the people, make the difference. I'm a vessel in all this. I'm the messenger, communicating the message, but this is a position of service and servant leadership. Plain and simple, you are going to make the decision. You are the hiring authority. You are the board of directors in this corporate endeavor we call Olympia in the state of Washington, and you are who I report for. So you hire me, and then you fire me if necessary. That's the way it should be. That is the way it should be. So, Kyle, thanks for the question. I appreciate you. I really do. I appreciate your objective mind, because this is the person, folks, who will challenge me at times, and I want that. It's my boss. And that's what happens. You get called on the carpet, you answer to your boss. And it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or an independent. I've got bosses who are Democrats. I've got bosses who are independents. I've got bosses who are libertarians and Republicans, because it's the people. It's the people over politics. It's the Constitution over political party. And I believe in that. So if you want to know what Semi Bird stands for, when I talk about America first, I'm talking about American values. that everybody has a voice, that this country is a constitutional republic, and that the only way to ensure that republic, which made power inherent in the people and gave people the power, is for people to self-govern it, to take action themselves, to hold elected officials accountable, and for them to elect the candidates that they select, not the candidates that the establishment or the elites select. And that's the difference in this race. Look at the millions of dollars that have been raised by other candidates. And that money has nothing to do with, well, who's a better candidate. You know who the better candidate is. I hear it all the time. Well, Semi Bird's the better candidate. But I'm not sure he can win without having millions of dollars. Well, my friends, come on now. Money doesn't vote, you do. Guns don't kill people. People kill people using guns. You get that? That's common sense. Come on now. And then Kyle asked about the poll numbers. The last poll was the Seattle Times in collaboration with the University of Washington. 503 people. And it said that Dave Reichert had 76% of the Republican vote. Now, if you guys believe that, I wanted to say something smart because I just can't think of anything. That's how much baloney. Well, wait a minute. What would he's still president. What would President Biden say? That's a bunch of malarkey. Because it is. You don't get supermajority. You don't get supermajority of 72% just a couple months ago, and all of a sudden, the person who associates or identifies as a Republican that everybody knows is over here, as they say, a moderate Republican who believes in supporting abortion pill stockpiling, his words, and making Washington State a sanctuary for people to come in and get abortions. Yep. Want to hear another story? That person, no, I'm a different candidate. I'm who I say I am, and so say what you mean, do what you say. And so the polls, look at every straw poll, we win. The biggest poll that has ever been conducted in Washington State was the poll that was conducted on April 20th of this year at the convention. Again, over 1,839 delegates came to Spokane to that convention. Over 2,000 people showed up. We won a supermajority, verified. Biggest poll, we won handily. So I don't give credence to the either bought and paid for polls, which most of them are, mostly by the people with the millions of dollars, or their PACs that are funding dirty politics hit pieces, attacking people's families, attacking people's combat honorable service. That shows how desperate you must be. Can't win. I'm afraid to debate you. Non-viable, but you feel you have to play dirty politics. Well, I will never play dirty politics. I will never call anybody a name because I serve the people. And that is, I focus on the issues and I talk about solutions. And I'm here to interview, to communicate why I would be a better candidate than anybody else. You cannot do that by calling people a con man, a snake oil salesman, a crook, or a thief, or anything else. It's to show what your solutions are. What will you do to improve the quality of life for Washington citizens? At least that would be my expectation of a citizen. Question: if Dave Reichert wins, hopefully you do, then would you endorse him in the general election? Oh, Shivam Loy, that is a grace question that I will not answer because I'm focused on the primary election and we are going to win. You don't own a mindset of losing right as you're going into battle while your troops are here and your troops are here and your troops have got your back and they're out there in street corners in the heat waving signs and banners on bridges in convoys going up I-5 from Clark County to Snohomish County and bumper to bumper traffic. You know, when you have people out there handing out flyers and swag going door to door, you don't start talking about capitulating to someone who slandered, vilified, and attacked your family. Wow, no, not today. We'll talk about that should the most likely not happen. So we're going to do what we do. We're going to focus on winning. That's a leadership mindset. That's what ensured our nation when 3% turned out in 1776, right, to declare their independence. We come with a winning attitude, and we talk about the battle at hand. And so that's what we're going to talk about. But I was not going to ignore you. So maybe you should ask him that and then let me know from the gentleman who refuses to honor our citizens with a debate, just so we can talk about policies and solutions. We know where he stands on abortion. And you can see a lot more. I encourage everyone to go to the Seattle Times editorial board interviews with all the candidates, at least the top 4 leading candidates, and see the differences. So I appreciate you guys' questions. And then we have Nate. Will you stand against abortion as much as your position as governor will allow? Well, Nate, here's my clear position. Life begins at conception and ends with natural death. That is science. That is life. I value life. I think everyone does. I even think people on the pro-choice side, if we're playing that nonsense, there's sides in this instead of focusing on solutions. And I like the way you word it, as long as the what the authority gives you, because what the authority gives me is to bring forward solutions, and that's what I should be talking about, because as you all know, there's an abortion law in Washington State, 9.02.100, life of the mother, viability of the fetus. That's the law that's been in the book since the 70s. The citizens of Washington chose, and the citizens of Washington State will choose again if they choose to do something different. And I will see what the citizens choose. But we should be talking about prevention. Why are we not uniting both sides of this discussion instead of fighting about things when there's already a law in place, in a constitution, the supreme law of our state, which under Article 3, I believe Section 6 says, I must enforce the law as written. But why not prevention? Go into at-risk communities and ensure people understand the responsibilities of bringing forth a child into the world. Making sure young women understand their self-worth is great and their futures, and focusing on that. Prevention. That's what we should do. And then adoption. We should make a clear path with less red tape and bureaucracy to facilitate adoption, so that families who want a child and are capable of bringing forth great parenting in a beautiful environment for a child, and a young person or a person who maybe find themselves in a difficult position believe that family would be better off raising the child than now they have an opportunity, or to provide love and compassion through support systems and networks to make sure that person has all the resources, that they can get prenatal care, that they can hear that heartbeat, that they can have financial support and medical care throughout that process to help them and support them. That's supporting women. So, yeah, 100%. And let's see what else we have going, and then we're going to go to the paper. But I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate your patience. And yeah, Christina, let's talk polls. And that's why I talk polls. We win every single straw poll, it seems, that's out there that someone doesn't do in the dead of night. But the straw polls where you literally, this is a primary election. You can't win a primary without your party endorsing you, or more than anything else, your party base coming out and supporting you. But here's the difference with Bird for Governor campaign, is that we have people from the inner city on the west side, King County, Snohomish, and Pierce, that are supporting us, that are rallying in support of us, who have never voted Republican ever before. And not only that, that delegation, the largest in history that we were just talking about, that large poll, Christina, those people represented all 39 counties And these are active voters. These are active, politically active people. That is the base. And they came from precinct caucuses to county caucuses, and they were elected to be delegates to go to Spokane to cast their vote in representation of their counties and in their precincts. It's a beautiful process, and it was a beautiful convention, not because we won, but because the voice of the people were heard. If you look conversely to the Democrat convention, it was something altogether different. Zoomed in, pay to play, $1 million. Senator Mark Mullet, conservative Democrat senator. I actually like him. I don't agree with some of his social policies, maybe many of them. Nice gentleman, good business person. But he was aced out of that. On the Republican side, we didn't ace anybody out. They may have tried to with a deal between the elite and those who could be bought or whatever happened. But no, the people's voice was loud and proud and honored. That is something we should be proud of on our side of the aisle. But, I think we need to break down those barriers and focus on issues, solutions, and the right candidate to serve all citizens of Washington State. An SA, thank you. I've seen Semi Bird on commercials at 9 p.m. and in between local Fox. Well, right on. And King 5, yeah. No, we're getting out there. Again, go to birdforgovernor.com. Birdforgovernor.com right now. Go to donate, and please donate so that you can sponsor one of our commercials, because that's how we get the word out. We have some hanky-panky going on right now. Secretary of State Hobbs, I appreciate your bravery and how you stood up to the corrupt intent of Bob Ferguson, and I'm not calling Bob any names, but when you are an attorney general, the chief law enforcement officer of the state, and you try to get the Secretary of State to break the law to benefit you, that is wrong, that is corrupt, and when you're the chief law enforcement officer and you do that, that demonstrates your intent. That is disheartening. But to Secretary of State Hobbs, I appreciate you standing up to Attorney General Ferguson, but where in the heck are the pamphlets? We have, 12 counties that received their ballots without voter pamphlets so they can actually see who the candidates are, what the bios are, because there's a lot of people in Washington State. I believe we have 4.7 something million registered voters who don't know, who don't pay attention. Many of them do, but most do not. Where are the pamphlets? How do we get this wrong? We talk about free and fair and secure elections all day long on that in this current administration. We talk about it. And we go after people who challenge and question election integrity, and we call them cultist or extremist. And here we go again. King County last summer, primary election, swapping out servers in the dead of night. One camera's out that would have overseen that impropriety, that that compromise of law, because it's against the law to swap out a server without notifying both parties, representation. It's illegal, but they did it. And here we are, ballots without pamphlets. Secretary Hobbs, we can do better. We must do better. Dale Whitaker, he's on deck. Vote Dale Whitaker for Secretary of State. I'll say that. Auditor, we have Matt. Matt is up. Matt Hawkins for auditor. Leader. Okay. We're moving on. What do we have going on here? I'm looking for question marks. So, guys, if you didn't put a question mark, and I'm not ignoring you, it just means that I didn't see it. Good seeing you, Mike. Brother Josh, good seeing you, my friend. Oh, Josh said Bubbles filled in, voted for Bird. I love it. I'm getting all kinds of emails, Justine, Angel, Clark County. Thank you, my friend. You've been so dear, and your prayers. I have to share something, you guys. I want to share this, and Justine reminded me of this. I was in Clark County, wonderful organization, Patriots United, amazing leader, pastor, amazing man, amazing family, amazing organization. I've said that. I came there and I was feisty. I had an attitude and I was bitter. And it was because of the attack on my military service. I mean, I can take a lot, you guys. I mean, battle, combat, death, all that. I can take a lot. It's frustrating when you get lied on, when you get attacked at that core. My life, service in the military, just being stolen, taken away, just being vilified, like you didn't do it and like you stole it. That was very dark. Dirty politics must never be supported. Whether you're supporting me and doing dirty politics against Dave or Bob or Mark or anybody, I don't condone it. I never have. All of you know that. At least I have spoken up against it. And I never will call names. We can compare and contrast. We can hold people accountable. But you don't do dirty politics. And I was building up a rage. I was upset. And I was in the back of that room. And I was praying. Lord, please take this darkness from my heart. It's not who I am as a person. I'm that kid who loves everyone. This is a foreign debris, foreign and something. No, it's got to go. And the next day I woke up and so much better. And that was so many people that night just that I saw who have been with me for so many months and going on 2 years, just kindness and love and compassion and prayer. You are all who have been supporting me a big part of this. And so thank you. And it made it so much easier to purge that darkness and to stay the course, to say we will not go dirty in the mud and attack people's families or attack their character or attack their personality. We don't do that. And I never will. It's just, we're going to focus on the issues. I just want to say thank you to everyone for that. And again, like I told you at the beginning of this podcast, I am organic like that. If I see something and someone triggers a thought, I say it as it is. That's just how I roll. And so there's that. Going to look for a few more. All right. No, we've got it. And I'm going to switch over to this side. We have one more. Brian Denzel, good man. If someone's asking, let's see here. Brian Denzel is a good man. If I lived in Spokane County, if I was in the 5th, I'd vote for him, 100%. So, and by the way, I'm not going to do endorsements of candidates. So again, here's the beauty. I get to say who I support. It just comes to mind, comes from my heart. But there's some that I'm not going to get mixed up in because I don't want to compromise and I don't want to cause division. But there's some races that you got to speak out. Okay, this is Sharon, or maybe Sharon, because there's 2 R's in this, which is cool. I'm reaching out to clarify your stance on gay marriage. I have a female family member who is legally married to another female. She's worried about losing their rights, specifically their health insurance benefits from their employers. When you're elected, will you change any of those laws? Well, Sharon, here's the good news for you. The good news is I don't have any authority to change those laws as governor. And here's some more good news for you. I love everyone. How you choose to live your life it's on you. And I want everybody to be happy. That's Semi-Bird. Now, again, I am strong in my faith and religion is religion, but governor, Constitution of the United States of America is the foundation of law. And that Constitution provides protections. The Constitution is there to protect the citizens from the overreach and the overstep of government. And so a tyrant in office with a D for Democrat behind their name, or a tyrant in office with an R for Republican behind their name, is a tyrant nonetheless. But if you want to know one thing about Semi-Bird is I do not prejudice against anyone. Race, creed, color, religion, or how they choose to live their life. I want everyone to have happiness, and I love everyone. And some of my dearest friends are gay and married. So I hope that brings comfort. We don't target people. And that's like that House Bill 1333 that Attorney General Ferguson was bringing forward, violent extremism organization, or this hotline of hate and bias. We are all against hate. And bias is a natural thing. We all have. I have a bias. I mean, I'm an emotional person. I'm a thinker, but I'm an emotional person, and I'm passionate about certain things. I speak my heart often, like I just did. So, no, I don't support hate, but I don't support dividing and dialing and calling out neighbors. And this is America. So there's that fine line. Constitution, First Amendment. We all, and then in Washington State, we have our Constitution, right? Article 1, and we have those sections, which is our Bill of Rights. Okay. I have another family member who's also a college student studying law. Justice has heard a rumor about the FBI being dismantled. She really wants to work with the FBI. And so what is your stance on? Yeah, so no, Sharon, to that one too. FBI it serves a very important mission in our country. I'm governor for Washington State, God willing and you willing. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, I've worked with the Justice Department and the FBI a lot over the years. They serve a very important mission, but they themselves have overreached. The FBI is supporting this nonsense that parents is domestic terrorists. For them to even get into the weeds in this, and we've seen what happened with the Secret Service recently. I'm just different. I don't take reactive steps, and I'm careful not to use my position to influence dynamic change or to say things that can do harm without carefully researching and knowing what I need to know. If there's impropriety within the agency that is needed, and I believe the FBI is needed, I do. It's our Federal Bureau of Investigation. And I understand our federal agencies very well, more so than any other candidate running for office. That's right. I'll take a challenge on that. But just to say we're going to dismantle. No, I'm for replacing the director 100%. Let's do it like yesterday, day before yesterday, last year. No, but you don't just wipe out the whole agency. Now, there's some we should talk about. Do we need an ATF? Well, that's outside of my jurisdiction anyway. But I think I answered your question, and fair, and hopefully it made sense to you. But yeah, let your family know. There's nothing to fear here. That's what they do. And it's mostly comes from the elitists, because grassroots constitutional citizens, grassroots, we're for like, hey, you do you, I do me. Be happy. We're cool. I didn't even know you were this or that. I didn't know you were a Democrat. I didn't know you were a Republican. I didn't know you were, a Martian until it doesn't matter. If you're good, our kids play together. I love you. You love me. They love each other. That's how it is. Let's get back to that. And can we have a discussion and have a difference of opinion, still respect each other, still love each other? I mean, it's like family. Why the heck not? So that's what I'm about. Katie, is there not a state law and getting out voter pamphlets in time? We talked about that. No, there should be. I know of no law. If I'm wrong, I stand accounted for, and I will be, but I'll find out and I'll correct myself. But no, but I said this just earlier, y'all know. How terrible is that? Oh my goodness. No, I'm with you, Katie. And then before, were you marking the outside of envelopes, whether you're a Democrat or Republican? That's some nonsense too. So we're bringing an election integrity bill when we report for duty in January of 2025. Again, God willing, you guys, if you make it happen, you're the people who will make it happen. But it starts August 6th primary. Go to birdforgovernor.com, donate, sponsor a commercial, tell everyone you know about us. We're a common sense candidate, governor for all of Washington. Sharon knows, for all of Washington. And by the way, similar to Sharon's question, a very similar household, one of my dearest friends voted for me last week and was at one of my last big events in Yakima. And I love him. So just a good man. And I want his happiness as well. Okay, Sarah, Washington State is currently spending a considerable amount of money on Washington Kids and Early Achievers program in preschools As a kindergarten teacher, I do not value these programs for many reasons. There's programs that have resulted in overregulation has sucked common sense out of daycare preschool programs. Many providers forced out of business or simply quit due to the regulations. Do you have any thoughts about continuing in the same early childhood education path for Washington, or do you see a new one? So, Sarah, I don't want to make assumptions. Supporting early childhood education is a good thing. I would be hard-pressed to find anyone who would disagree with it. And I don't want to, again, read too much into it because I don't know what I don't know. I think it's safe to assume that perhaps you may find yourself on the non-public side of, well, being a daycare provider or one of those private organizations that provides the same services in competition with public school programs that do the same thing, but they're bringing over regulation and, in many cases, driving out private. So I don't support that aspect of it. But again, you would probably be the first one to say what you support. I mean, not to mix what you just said, but I don't want to misinterpret also. I think the getting to the root is we have private organizations that my daughter went to. In my town, I shouldn't say the name. I was going to say the name. I'm not going to say the name. See, there's some impulse control there. But my daughter went to early preschool and early child learning in preschool. And I even went there in uniform, show and tell, and did some wonderful stuff, participated. And it was it was amazing. And most parents love that. So I would never want it to shut down. And so I would never want state regulations to shut down those programs. But we must continue to support early childhood education. So I think we're together on this. I hope we are. And if I'm not getting it right, send it back. Send me an email. You know how to get in touch with me, and I'll bring it up on our next podcast. I'll drill down. So I really appreciate that. And thank you for what you do, by the way. We have to give teachers back their classrooms so that they can focus on the mission, educating our children, the fundamentals of learning, academic excellence. You know, teachers, you guys are beautiful human beings. Your hearts are in the right place. Most. Rob, what is your position on assault rifle ban or weapons ban is what it is, and will you work to repeal it? I'm going to add mag capacity ban, and the answer is absolutely yes. It's unconstitutional. It's wrong. I said it earlier on. Again, guns don't kill people. People do. And that's social, economic, behavioral that leads to gun violence. I mean, we have to look at the root cause. It's like a homelessness program, and you keep talking about housing and not addiction and mental health. It's nonsensical. So, no, yes, Rob, 100%. I've spoken out quite a bit in this, and yeah, I would be your Second Amendment supporter. In Washington State, it's Article 1, Section 24 of the Washington State Constitution, which actually gives us more rights and protections to keep and bear arms than the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. And I can go way deep in this rabbit trail because I'm tracking like a bloodhound on a hunt. Okay, I just went country for a second, and no offense to anybody country. So, Tammy, would you support deportation of illegal immigrants? 100%. I mean, I'm not for breaking up families and doing all kinds of just kicking in doors, and because people will see a response to something like that and just take it the wrong way. My son-in-law was an illegal immigrant. He and his amazing wife, my firstborn, who's amazing, I'm proud of. Baby, if you're listening, I love you. And he, a good man. I mean, a good man. And no buts about that. I'm so proud of him. And my family and my daughter and what they've done, my grandson and my granddaughter. Beautiful. But he went back across the border, realizing that they can't live in the darkness of being illegal, undocumented. And so he did the proper paperwork and came back in the light, green card, and I'm proud to say, and some of you already know this, became an American citizen mid-month January, and I'm so very proud of him. Just had a birthday 2 weeks ago, and I'm very proud. So my family has gone through this. So what I'm saying is I do not support illegal immigration into the United States of America. I believe doing it the right way. If you're fleeing a war-torn country and certain countries in Africa. I mean, it's bad. Well, of course, I want you to have that sanctuary. America has always been that, but you do it legally because it is beyond a doubt that you're fleeing that oppression. But the reality is that by opening the borders that they have done, it has brought such a hardship in Washington State. Our economy, our school system, our entire infrastructure is literally paying the price. $340 million that was intended for federal COVID relief went to illegal immigration, which is why on day one, I will end our sanctuary state status on day one of my administration, because I support legal immigration. Do it the right way, just like my son-in-law did. And again, we will support programs. Do it the right way, and we will support you 100%. I'm all for that. Some of the greatest workers and most brilliant minds come from all over the world, and we want that. We want people to come here and add to our beautiful melting pot of America. That's how this nation was started. So, Tammy, I hope I answered your question. I kind of gave you a little bit more. And then the last one, we're going back over here to the chat. Would you repeal cap and trade and work to reduce energy taxes? 100%. That is some nonsense. The Climate Commitment Act is on the ballot. And by the way, in cap and trade, if you people are saying, well, you have two Republican candidates running for the same office. Well, you have a choice. You have a candidate, Dave Reichert, who voted with Democrats for cap and trade when he was in Congress. Google it right now while I'm talking, and then go to birdforgovernor.com and donate, sponsor a commercial, right? But Google it right now, and then tell anybody who's bringing that nonsense that is voted for cap and trade, climate tax, voted to fund military transgender sex changes, voted for so much more. It's a matter of fact. So here you are voting for cap and trade, and then now you're taking pictures and posing with your large donors saying that you support it. So you are for it, now you're against it on pretty much everything. But then you say you're against it, and then now you're for it, depending on which side of the state you're in. That's not what I want for a candidate. So now I'm going to bounce over here, you guys. Thank you for your patience. And I'm going to try to get caught up over here with questions, you guys. And you see how this works. I'm trying to serve everyone. Hero Butler is back for Treasury. I thought she was running for Lands Commissioner, Jamie Herrera Butler. And I think Sue Hennick is running. I could be wrong. You guys will have to correct me. But Sue Kill-Peterson is running for Lands Commissioner. She is the right person for that job, a biologist and a huge background, scientific knowledge. Come on now. We don't need any more politicians. Subject matter expert, someone who will bring value to our natural resources department. I mean, yeah, well, Sue is who I'm supporting 100%, without a doubt. And I believe she's on our slate, endorsed by the Washington State Republican Party and the delegates. Lands Commissioner. There we go. That's it. Sue Kill-Peterson. Pederson, I believe. So if I'm not right, Sue knows I love her. Oh, there it is right here. Someone put it in there. So thank you. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you. Oh, Justine, like I see you again. And Josh, thanks you guys. I'm just going down looking for questions. Are you going to remove the climate crisis gas? Oh my goodness, again. So we have 4 initiatives on the ballot this November. I know we're talking about the primary, and I do have to get in the road because I'm going over to the west side tonight. My bride and I, back on the road. Boy, that's what we do. Pushing hard. We have the Climate Commitment Act, which is cap and trade. That's on the ballot. Gas went up 50 cents a gallon. Diesel went up 63 cents a gallon. Their intent is to, they say, reduce carbon emissions. Have you seen the forest fires all throughout Washington State and Oregon? That's all we need, Sue. Proper forest management. I will open up state land for harvesting, tree harvesting. We're going to be cutting. We're going to bring back the timber industry, which will create jobs, will create tax money to go to our school system. And when I bring my education reform bill in January, we'll make sure we're getting the return on investment in our school system, but we'll have the funds to staff, to pay for special education, to make sure our students and those teachers who want to teach the fundamentals of education have the resources that they need. So again, bringing back the timber industry by properly managing our forests, cutting, and then I'm going to get the permits from the new president of the United States of America, and that will be Donald Trump. And I want people to look at that and go, oh, Semi Bird is a Trumper and no one controls my mind. I represent Washington State. And if President Trump is president and does something that's not good for Washington State, well, then I will take a stand against, because I'm here to serve the citizens of Washington State. But he is the right person for the job. That's who I voted for, will be voting for in the general, so I voted for in the primary. So we're going to get his permits. We'll get permits to cut on federal land as well. Those are hundreds of thousands of acres that need to be managed, because you start a forest fire on federal lands that goes to state lands, it goes to private lands, it's a problem. So that is a carbon emission that we should be focusing on. And by the way, hydroelectricity is renewable energy. Why are we passing laws that says it's not? That's nonsensical. So the Climate Commitment Act needs to go away. It's on the ballot. We should have 2066, I believe I got that right. It's the repealing the gas ban. Right now it applies mostly to Puget Sound Energy on the left side of the state, on the west side of the state. But it's going to come to the right side of the state or the east side of the state. Avista, the number one distributor of natural gas. Natural gas burns clean. It's the second most used form of energy, alternative energy. But what they're trying to do is push us to electric. EV, electric vehicle mandates, all this other stuff. We don't even have the infrastructure to support it. As a matter of fact, studies now show that Washington State is the least supportive state of electric vehicles. So no, we're not doing it. And we need to rebuild our electrical grid also, because it's not capable of sustaining the current energy strain. So we have a lot of work to do in Washington State. So the Climate Commitment Act needs to go away. That natural gas ban needs to go away. We have a capital gains tax that's going to be in the ballot. That needs to go away. We need to incentivize people living in poverty to work their way up to finding the American dream, where they're turning a profit because they're small business owners, or they found a way to invest or flip homes, or to buy a home, rebuild their home, sell their home, make a profit to grow wealth. We need to incentivize that, not penalize that or tax that, or even when you hand over property or your savings from one generation to another, when you're taxing it, that's wrong. That is wrong, and I will not support that either. So say no to the capital gains tax. That's going to be in the ballot in November. And there's another initiative, which is the Long-Term Care Act, which is essentially a hidden employee tax, which we all pay for, which is not long-term care at all. You get maybe 60 days max. If you get off the system for a period of time, you lose it. You leave the state for a short period of time, come back, you lose it. And if you do pay a lot of money for it, you're not going to get anything near what you think it's going to give you. And so this initiative will defund that, or give you the opportunity to opt out of it, if I got it right. So I think I hit the four initiatives that are on the ballot in November. Those four initiatives are important, and I support all of them because it's common sense governance. You know, we got 3 through already that became law. At least the legislature felt the consequences of those actions. We brought back police pursuit. We at least started to value parents' rights with the Parents' Rights Bill, to at least know what's happening with their children, where their children are at. So you can't steal children from school and not tell parents where they're at. There's more to do. 5599 needs to be repealed and go away. So there's still more that needs to be done. Truly valuing parents' rights. Come on, you bring a child into this world. Who do you think loves them more than anything else? And if a parent is not showing love or abusing a child, then we will intercede and protect that child. That is a different story. So protecting children, 100%, but protecting the rights of good parents who love their children and take care of their children, 100%. You see where I'm at? Because one person will go here, another person will go there. We're going both places and covering all bases. And then we said we're not doing income tax in Washington State because it's unconstitutional at any level. So that passed into law. So we shouldn't have to do these things. But here's why I'm saying this right now. And some of you are thinking, well, you're talking too much to me because I got more questions over here. But the reason it's important for me to talk about these things is so that you understand what common sense governance looks like. But here's the other thing. This is a signal to all of you that people are fed up in Washington State. And that's why those initiatives are getting signatures. And that natural gas ban was passed in the dead of night, short session, 60 days. They put like 384 bills through, and that's what they do in Olympia. There's no transparency, and they're not working for us. But those bills they're putting these bills through, 5599, and then the natural gas ban. But yet people within a very short period of time, Democrats, independents, conservative, Republicans alike, signed that initiative in a short period of time so we can get it on the ballot. People are fed up, regardless of their political ideology. They're fed up and they're ready for change. And so, no, that's what we stand for. That is what common sense governance is about. And that's what we're bringing. We're bringing someone into office. Look at me as a consultant. I'm an employee. I'm a leader of the state, chief executive officer, but I'm going to work. I'm not going to hold down a political office for the oligarchy, big money donors, or any party. I'm going to work for the citizens of Washington State, all the citizens of Washington State. We've got work to do. We're going to do it. Someone said I've had to sell my blood plasma just to get. I'm sorry, Doug. No, that's wrong. You shouldn't have to. And again, that's why we get rid of those bad laws, and we put Washington citizens first. I told you about all that money that went to illegal immigrants. It should be going to our citizens who are doing this, having to give blood just to put gas in a car to maybe go to work. I was at a motocross event last week. A young lady, a security guard, she is a person with disabilities, rock star, working 2 jobs, barely making ends meet. She is someone that I look up to. And I run into people like that every single day. You know, you see me running for governor, Semi Bird for governor, and I appreciate that. But I'm you. Of the people, by the people, for the people. But I can look at someone like that and look up to her and respect her and admire her. I see people like that every single day, people that I admire. And I would want to be more like them. So no, Doug, we got you covered. Common sense governance is what we need. And someone else mentioned the polls. Yeah, we've got it. Here's what the polls show, Terry. Dave Reichert cannot beat Bob Ferguson on all those polls. Cannot. And what the media has done, the mainstream media, Bob, Dave. Dave got 76% of the Republican vote. Again, no one is crazy enough to believe that. And that was on the poll. Poll is wrong, garbage. Oh, but then there was 2016, and how did it show Clinton and Trump? 95% for Clinton, 72% for Clinton. 72 was the worst, maybe the best poll for Donald Trump, but 72% for Clinton, and we know who won. So there's the polls. That's it. All right. Someone said Dave Reichert is promoting the evil Olympics opening ceremony. I mean, Shelley, Dave can do whatever he wants to do, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to go there. I'm talking about Washington State and what I'm going to do for Washington State and comparison and contrast for Washington State. That's what we need. No, we're doing good. Our campaign is doing great everywhere we go. We're packing the house. People are excited. again, it's going to be just like the convention. God willing, you willing, we'll get it done. Let's see what else we've got going on. Yeah, and if we're talking about the protests and everything, I got you on the ceremony. But you guys know there should be an easy choice. I guess it depends on your ideology, and so some people will support that. Some, those burning of the flag, the pro-Hamas protesters. Hamas is a terrorist organization, and then you burn our flag on American soil because you have the freedom on our soil to do that, desecrating the flag. It's wrong. It's wrong. So let's see here. Oh gosh, you'll get so tired of winning. You'll say, and Ed, and thank you for what Edward posted. All the influence that we gain through this campaign, it goes back. It's a return on investment because the legislature and the Senate will change as we continue to gain success under our administration. Again, it's going to start with that third-party audit of all state programs and all state offices so that we know where the money's going. We know how the money's being spent. We're assessing the performance of these programs. That's what I used to do for a living. So, again, do you have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to do the job of what we need to change in Washington? The answer is yes. That is not political. That's professional. That's not representation of any political party or ideology. That's just getting the job done to benefit Washington citizens. That's what I did. And by getting a handle on the $71.5 billion, my friends, I said this in a commercial the other day. I said that seniors are being taxed out of their homes. That's shameful. Businesses are being overregulated and out of our state. They're being regulated out of our state. Young people can't afford a decent apartment or ever be able to own a home. We've got a liquor tax, a gambling tax, a marijuana tax, all kinds of taxes, gas taxes. Gas taxes were supposed to be for our roads. Do our roads look any better? Marijuana taxes were supposed to, and gambling tax, money was supposed to go to our schools. Are our schools any better? You guys see where I'm going with this. Billions of dollars went to homelessness. Homelessness is up 23%. And you see people walking across the street in a zombie like. We are literally, through these bad policies, these evil policies, we are growing the epidemic, the fentanyl epidemic in Washington state. It's beyond. It breaks my heart. And that gentleman, Chris, who called me talking about his daughter who was addicted, and I was just on an interview podcast before I came to do mine. Chris called me. First, he texted me. I didn't see his text. I just got his call. I was doing interviews all morning. He was heartbroken. His daughter has been addicted. And I know I lost my nephew. You guys know that. To fentanyl overdose, poisoning. These are people, our family members, our loved ones who are dying slowly in the streets, and they are living in darkness and despair. That addiction takes over your soul. Again, you'll steal from your mother, your grandmother, your children. And many of them have children. I saw a lady in Spokane. I was in Spokane 3 days ago. And I was doing an interview in a park with a news reporter. Cameras are facing, but as I was walking, I parked. My wife was with me. Lucky enough to have her with me on the trail, now that my daughter's out for summer. And we got out of the car and we're walking across the street, and there is an addict and her designated other, I'm going to assume, and she is like 9 months pregnant. And then as we're leaving, they're laying in the park, having a nice leisure in the park, laying down, which I like people to be happy, and she's shooting up, and she's got a baby in there. I'm not going to cry. I want to. I feel the need to. But if you can't understand the needs that we have, if we're going to still play this silly game of politics, who has more money, who has more name brand recognition, which party this and which party that, forget about it all. Because if we don't self-govern and take back our state and bring compassion to bring what we know is right and wrong, where will we be? I mean, really think about that. Look what's happened. We remember better times, all of us. remember better times. If we do not stand on principle and on values. So anybody who sits there and says, who's got more money? Oh, I like Semi, but Dave's got more money. Where are your principles? Where are your values? What are you standing on? Who can win versus who is the right person to do the job? Again, just a little reminder, July 4, 1776, if they took that same attitude, who has more money? Who has more armies? Who has more bullets, more guns, and more cannons? We would all have English accents right now. Now, granted, those are cool accents, but I'm just saying, if they did not have their spine, knew where it was, a backbone, right? Intestinal fortitude, personal courage to declare our independence, fight for liberty, freedom, and independence. I'm just saying, you know what? Find your integrity, find your moral compass, recalibrate it, do the right thing, vote. Vote early, and I hope you vote for me because I'm not playing that nonsense anymore. We're doing something about the homelessness epidemic, the drug epidemic. It's on birdforgovernor.com. And while you're there looking at my solutions with actions, donate. Get active, get engaged, vote, tell everyone you know. Let's make this happen. It's going to start. It's going to start with the primary. We need to crush it. We will. We'll win. Let me see. Did SITU get resolved? Re-wearing Milt badge that wasn't really Semi's to wear. I don't even know what the heck you're. Oh, Mary, bless your heart. Mary's talking about military, and we're going dirty politics. Mary, all of my DD-214s, my orders for every badge was given to the Washington State Republican Party. Mary, they verified it. I have orders to wear everything. So let's stop being dirty. Let's start acting as role models for our children and grandchildren. And let's bring human decency and civility back to our society. And I'm going to ask this of my supporters also. Don't do this nonsense to Dave Reichert or Bob Ferguson or Mark Mullet. I mean, it's more of a reflection, not of my character, but in the character of people who do things like this. We should be better. We can be better, and we must be better. So it starts with me, modeling the behaviors that we would want to see in our society. That's not name-calling. That's not going so deep and so low in the mud that you would try to dishonor a highly decorated combat veteran who could have died in service for his country. Bronze Star Valor, Purple Heart, ironclad, verified, validated. Move on and grow up. Let's move on here. See what else we got. I'm over time. I know I am. I just don't want to leave you guys. This has been, I think it's been great. I know I need to wrap. Okay, we're going to do maybe one more here. I'm going to come over here. What exactly we do to stop the transgenderism of minors? Will it be legal if the parent agrees? So Emily, that's a beautiful and great question. And by the way, I know this young lady, and she's a beautiful young lady, 18 years old, if I'm not mistaken, and just why we must fight to ensure our republic so that our youth, who are critical thinkers, who are willing to stand against what is clearly and obviously wrong. And what I mean by that is this. Let children be children. Protect the innocence of children. Emily was talking about Senate Bill 5599 that I spoke on earlier. And I said it needs to be repealed. And it does need to be repealed. It needs to be repealed. What a person does as an adult or how they choose to live their life, I've been very honest about that. Now, even Republican voters may not like that about me, but I love everyone. I do, and I respect everyone. Even if I don't agree with their choices of life or this or that, I can still love you, I can still like you, I can respect you, right? I can work with you, you can be my friend, you can come over to my home. I mean, it's above my pay grade to judge. I would rather bring love into my life than darkness and hate. But if a child cannot vote, gamble, buy cigarettes, join the military, come on now. But they can change their sex, but not even changing their sex. Because you do a DNA test, it's still going to be XX and XY. I'm just saying. And again, I'm not prejudicing against anybody. But you want to live your life how you want to live your life. This is America. This is the place where you can make any choice you want to, just not for a child, period. And parents' rights, yes, I support parents' rights. But there are certain things that we must take a stand on. Again, I'm going to leave it to the people of Washington State. I'm not going to overreach or overstep. But you heard my 2 cents. Protect the innocence of children until they reach an age. And again, I'm a behavioral scientist. Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Look it up, Google it. Piaget's theory of cognitive development. This is the TREC, the most respected theory of childhood development from birth through adolescence. Again, that's why they have laws to say, well, you can't vote. You cannot own a gun. You can't buy cigarettes. You can't drink. You cannot do these things until a certain age because you cannot make decisions. You are not capable of making. That is what they are asserting in these laws. But yet we do these things. Again, common sense must apply here. So I hope I addressed it. Someone says, Semi, have you approached by coastal conservation organization? No. Great organization. Yeah, no, I haven't, Michael. Thank you for asking. And so most people will, there's a lot of big donors and a lot of big organizations that endorse. I don't usually, I get the local endorsements. That's usually what I get. So here's another juicy one. This is from Awkward Soul. You taught DEI. I work in DEI environment, and I'm stuck in a confidentially agreement, which is having an impact on my mental health. How can you help me? So Awkward, just to get more facts. Hogwash, no. Joe Biden, malarkey. I never taught DEI. That's a bunch of garbage. The keyword equity. So here's some facts for you folks, but I'm going to answer your question. Awkward. How awkward was this question? But you deserve an answer. I taught diversity and inclusion. Diversity and inclusion. That's called America. Diverse cultures. Oh, here was the title of the course I taught. The title of the course was Diversity and Inclusion. Notice no equity word in there. Diversity and inclusion. And then there was a colon, the 2 little dots. And then it said culture or generations, cultures, and perspectives. Here's the reason. I was a consultant, organizational development, facilitating interoperability, people working together and getting along. Diversity. I'm a baby boomer. Emily is a zillennial. In corporate America and businesses, older people typically call young people entitled, and they get like this, and young people, again, breaking those barriers down so people get along. Also, national laboratories. I consulted quite a bit. People from all over the world working as scientists. But even if it wasn't foreign nationals, just within our own cultures, we have different religions. Working together facilitates better performance. The bottom line goes up. Profitability. Employee satisfaction in the workplace goes up. Work performance and product quality go up. This is all science, and it has nothing to do with wokeism. That's what I taught. By the way, there's a lot of people out there that were in my courses. Oh, also, I have them recorded. So I've been so busy. I should put out one of the recordings, and I will. I think I will. I'll put it on my YouTube channel. Y'all can see the course. Have fun. Also, I've got the PowerPoint. I'll put it out. Learn something, ask me questions, I'll help you out. Good course. Everybody liked it. And all my students, not one of them will ever say I taught equity or the DEI version. And by the way, while I'm on it, get a look at this. If I bring it up, bear with me. I'm going over. What does this poster say? Can you guys see that? I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you guys see that at all? Maybe you can't. I'm not sure. But anyway, if I put it up and you can see it, Critical race theory, right? That's the foundation of diversity, equity, inclusion. So I taught the dangers of critical race theory. So there's that. So let me take that down. So I spoke out against it, have been for years. Oh, it gets better. Here's one. This is the course I taught. There it is on my website, Diversity and Inclusion, Generations, Cultures, and Perspectives. Y'all see that? Okay, let me take that down. I'm not sure if there's more. Here's one more for you guys. Just so you can tell a neighbor, right? I mean, phone a friend, tell a neighbor. Here's another one for you. This is an article, Richland School Board Director, or Richland School Board. I'm going to ad-lib, pushes back against critical race theory. Look at this. Proposed by Richland School Board member Semi Bird, the policy states students should not be taught that success and moral character are determined by race, economic status, or skin color. Look what I had ready to go. I wish I had a commercial. I didn't. But we had this up from a podcast from like 20 or 30 ago. So awkward. I'm going to finish answering your question. I think the record's clear. Semi Bird never taught DEI. But no, what I did do was bring forth policy and made national news for standing against that nonsense, right? We value different cultures. That's America. We value different religions. We value different perspectives. That's America. Different generations. Everybody has value. This is America. And we include them in the discussion, right? We include them in society and we value them, right? No one gets special treatment. We don't do the quota thing. You don't make people, the first black candidate ever endorsed for the position of governor in the history of Washington State. That did not happen because of the color of my skin or to fill a quota. That happened because I worked my butt off, and that the citizens of Washington State, specifically those 1,839 delegates who showed up in Spokane, heard my message, researched me, and believed that I was the best candidate by a 72% margin to represent them in the highest office of Washington State. Had nothing to do with the color of my skin. So no equity in that decision. It's called meritocracy. That is the American way. And that's what I believe, and that's what I will support. But let's just say here, you were saying something about it's having an impact on your mental health. I'm very sorry about that, awkward. How can I help you? Well, as governor of Washington State, I will stand against Senate Bill 5044, which is the DEI bill, and I want to see it repealed. So we'll start there. And I wish you all the best. And I appreciate you bringing this up. I hope that I spoke to your statement that I taught DEI. Please tell a friend and clarify that nonsense up. See what happens when people play dirty politics. They put all this stuff out there, right? And some people believe it, right? Mary and her little badge thing that she went to put up. Wrong, dead wrong. DEI, dead wrong. If I did a podcast on badges and DD214s, I would have put that up on the screen too. But you all see that because that's all over the internet because I put it all out there. So, let's see what else we have. Yeah, info@birdforgovernor.com. Info@birdforgovernor.com if you have any questions and if you want to get a hold of us. My team's amazing. I'm looking at any more questions, you guys. I just don't want to let you guys go, and I should. Let's see. Are you going to help hire more troops? Oh, my Lord, our state troopers and reverse and the mandates, the shutdowns, the vaccinations. You need to know this. This is why I'm taking time, because we're going to be back on the campaign trail. My wife is probably listening to this. Honey, I love you. Thank you, honey. I know you're getting everything ready for us to get in the road. Thank you for that, too. But this is important, you guys. And as long as you're engaged, I'm engaged. And boy, our law enforcement professionals, day one, we sign a resolution that says we will bring love, support, respect, and admiration for our men and women who serve, protect, and serve our communities, our law enforcement communities. And then we fund law enforcement. We don't defund law enforcement so that they can get the technology. We're last in the nation. Out of all the states and the nation, Washington State has the lowest number of law enforcement professionals representing. per capita. We have the lowest number of law enforcement officers per capita than any other state in the nation. Speaking to, will I help hire more troopers? I'm just getting warmed up on this one. Yeah, we're going to bring the heat on supporting to build our ranks. We're going to incentivize it. Bonus programs for retention, bonus programs for recruiting. I'm the only one running for office certified in retention and recruitment. Certified. Someone challenge that, I'll provide the paperwork. Graduate degree in human resource development. Advanced certification, professional, PHR, professional in human resources, but certified specifically in recruitment and retention. So we will have a plan on recruitment and retention for our state patrol. That'll happen. And a succession plan for our state patrol. And little known fact, concerning fact, our state troopers don't have a retirement health benefit. They will with this governor. I think that'll help staff. And then we need to start early. Mentorship programs in middle school. Start letting young people understand how awesome our law enforcement professionals are so that they want to be law enforcement professionals. They want to be state troopers. And by the way, when we save billions of dollars by holding our state administration accountable through our solutions with actions on economic development, which is published on my website, birdforgovernor.com. Again, please go there and donate now. Sponsor a commercial so we can get the word out before the primary. Read my economic development plan. We will save billions of dollars. I will grow the state patrol. I mean, that's the only, I'm for shrinking government, but the state patrol, which is where I have command and control of as governor, they're undersized for what they do. We have one crime lab. It's at the state patrol. For all law enforcement, all agencies, one crime lab. Our poor state patrol has been beat up, not supported, and then you bring in unconstitutional mandates. Between the two individuals running as a Republican, me, myself, a Republican, the other gentleman identifying as a Republican, between the two of us, one of us wrote an article with Reagan Dunn from the Seattle, what is in the county commission, wrote an article in the Seattle Times supporting the mandates. I, on the other hand, fought to give parents a choice when it came to masking their children. Myself and two other brave school board members. And they brought lawsuit recall against us, but we stood for the protection of our students, our children, and valuing parents' rights as the primary stakeholders in their children's upbringing and education. I don't stand for unconstitutional mandates. And by the way, a mandate is not a law. But the same administration would bring those mandates and threaten law enforcement and then medical health professionals. Either you get a vaccination that you do not have liability if you're a pharmaceutical company. Speaking of which, I am not the person who was a lobbyist for a pharmaceutical company. Note that. You give pharmaceutical companies a get out of jail free card so that there's no liability for them if something goes sideways with their drug, that they're making it a mandate for us to take or lose your job. Myocarditis and other what? No, my friends, Governor Bird will never violate the Constitution of Washington State by imposing unconstitutional mandates on our citizens. Short of a zombie apocalypse, then I'll be first in line. So, no, we're building up our state patrol. They have a huge mission. Troopers, we need to get you health benefits in retirement, and you have work to do. There's a lot of things happening up here that I'm going to be putting on paper, and you'll see soon enough. And yeah, support is coming. So no, we've got you covered. Let's see here. Have you met and held meetings with any of our Native American elders? 100%. And as I refer to our Native Americans, our first Americans, yes, I have. Have any of them endorsed you? No. They're with Bob. They're with Olympia. I'm the guy down here, right? We're the underdog. Will that change? 100%. Yeah, I support our treaties, the tribes. Constitution. It's Constitution. And so there's that. But I don't support encroaching on other Americans' rights either. So there's that. There's a balance. We honor our treaties 100% without equivocation, without hesitation. No. So, no, it's a matter of politics so far. And yes, I have with many. Let's see what else we get going. Oh, thank you guys. Yep, Sanctuary State, you saw that. And the whole tax thing, we're bringing tax relief. We're bringing tax relief back to Washington State. It's wrong for a government organization, which is an organization. That's why you want business sense people in office, not career politicians who don't know how to manage or never had employees, right? Spent their life on being funded by agencies. I mean, yeah, I retired from the federal government, but I own my own companies, several of them. I've had to make payroll quarterly, so I know what it's like. So, no, we need to do better. We need to do better, but it starts by putting, again, career Americans in office who know how to run organizations, who know business and microeconomics, housing, supply and demand. We have a high demand and a very low supply. We're 126,000 units shy. But what do they do as a state administration? They impose these ridiculous climate change energy codes that doubles the cost of constructing a home or an apartment unit, and you wonder why housing is off the charts and we don't have enough of them. We need to reverse those energy codes. We need to incentivize more construction. We need to partner with the building industry. And no, they did not endorse me as well. Because all of these organizations, and again, here I'm saying partner with them. I'm not a hater, right? I'm not. I'm a builder. I've been a builder. I was a special forces engineer before I became a special forces intelligence leader. And so, no, I'm all for building and builders. And I know how to build from grubbing a lot to blower door tests. But I don't have the money, and I'm not part of the establishment oligarchy. And so none of them. Guys, I'm not the guy. I'm the people's candidate, not the establishment's candidate. And I don't care what your organization is. So many of them, they roll with these guys up here. I roll with the people. So there's that. And I'm proud to roll with the people. Are you going to bring God and Christianity back in the forefront in public schools? We can chill. The answer is no. And boy, that's just, my heart just went, what? My own internal mind said, what did you just say? Article 1, Section 11 of the Washington State Constitution. If anybody knows me, so we can chill, please get to know me. Everybody knows me. I'm a very strong man of faith. Very much so. My whole life is dedicated to God and defined by. That being said, as governor of Washington State, which is why in my education reform bill, I'm all for money follows the backpack. Money follows the backpack, education savings accounts, supporting homeschooling families, no strings attached. I say again, no strings attached. But we pulled our daughter out of public school where she was raised in public school. They shut down schools. I ran for school board, eyes wide open, COVID. I saw what was happening in our schools. I pulled my child out of public school and put her in a private Catholic school because they were the only ones that were open for business without doing online learning. And my child stayed in a private Christian school. Our choice. But we could afford to do that. That's not fair for poor families. Like when I was a child, my mom didn't have the money. We relied on the generosity and the grace of others to support us. We had a social services system. So money follows the backpack. My point, we can chill, is I don't push my beliefs on others. I demonstrate my beliefs by how I conduct myself. Not doing dirty politics, not hating on people, but loving on people, bringing compassion. So I live my faith in how I live my life. But as governor of Washington State, I'm here to represent all of Washington State. And Article 1, Section 11 of the Washington State Constitution says we have a freedom of consciousness to choose how we believe. When it comes to religion and ideology and beliefs, we have a freedom of consciousness according to the Constitution of Washington State. As governor, under Article 3, I must respect that. And I understand my left and right limits. But I know who I am. I know who my heart and soul belongs to. I know why I'm here. So I hope you understand my answer. No, we're not pushing that in. I can't. I won't. I won't. So hope I don't lose votes, but I'm not here to pander to any organization. But I live, people know. So you can ask, you can look around. All right, guys, I got to look at it. 6:30. I went way over too long. You guys have been amazing. And I do appreciate you guys so much. Oh gosh, we have people. Yeah, do you have people distributing pamphlets in South Seattle, Kent, Auburn? Oh, all over the place. We have people everywhere. So go to birdforgovernor.com. After you donate, please volunteer. But info@birdforgovernor.com is our email to the campaign. You'll get an answer back. You will. The team is great. I have an amazing campaign team / family. I love them. They'll get back with you. We have people all over the state that are working hard for us. And I really wish I could have got through all of your questions, guys. I appreciate y'all. Love you. I speak truth. Truth is love and love is truth. I got to add this. Grace Point Northwest Church. I was there a week ago or last Sunday. 2 services. Pastor Heath, my brother, I love you. I mean, such a beautiful congregation you have. And I visited, Pastor Hastings, another dear friend who I love. So many great pastors out there, great people out there. But thank you for your kindness, love, compassion. What a beautiful time meeting your family, watching your son sing. What a voice. I didn't get a chance to tell him that. But everybody out there, thank you for your love, your compassion, your support for us. For all of you who maintain an open mind and you hear it, and it's just like the weekend. Hopefully he or she can understand what I'm saying. Internally, I want to say yes, but I can't, according to the Constitution of Washington State or the United States of America. Adams and Jefferson went back and forth on the separation of church and state. And I understand, we're not going to be a church of Washington. I understand all of that. I pay attention to the Supreme Courts and all the rulings. I'm just saying I have an obligation to represent all citizens, but I never have left my faith. I've never hidden from it. And people told me, even dear friends have said, you talk too much about God. And I serve God. I walk in the light. It's my life. But at the same time, I have to have the courage to tell someone who shares my spiritual beliefs that I will not impose them on the citizens of Washington State because it's unconstitutional. But I will live according to my faith and bring love, compassion, as I did to Sharon also. That is part of that for me. And that's what I want you to understand about who you're going to be maybe voting for or considering. I'm going to work for you. I'm a vessel. I'm a service vessel. And you know who I serve. Before the people, it's my faith. But in that office, the people. And it's to give love and compassion and just honoring you to do the best I can and remedying all the disastrous things that have happened without blaming anybody, without attacking anybody, but bringing solutions with actions to the issues that affects everyone in this state. Closing that wealth gap and lifting people out of poverty and despair. And God bless, Chris, who I talked to on the phone, and I pray for his daughter, who's suffering addiction like my nephew did. So much work needs to be done, but I'm going to work. We're bringing the solutions. I have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to do the job. Just to really bring change. It's a scientific approach. It's numbers, it's statistics, it's lean, Six Sigma, all the doctrinal methodologies for performance excellence. I want that for the state of Washington. I don't want our seniors being taxed out of their home. I want young people to have a future in our state where they were raised, they can afford to buy a home. We need to lower the cost of living. We need to lower taxes for not just our small business owners, but we need to lift up new small business owners. From someone who maybe was born into poverty, I want them to have their own company if that's what they want to work towards. We need more trades in Washington State. There's a lot of work to be done, but it can only happen if we unite and we believe in common sense, and we're willing to set our biases aside, to set political party affiliation aside, and say, I'm for common sense. And Semi, if you're going to honor your word, if you're going to get in there and you're going to work for the people, then I'll vote for you. And I will tell you this, I won't let you down. I won't. So let's get it done. We're going to win this primary. We're going to be going on to the general election, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's going to be much easier than getting through the primary. That's what I believe. That's what my team believes. And we haven't been wrong so far. So have faith. Let's get her done. And again, my friends, let me get this up there. Go to birdforgovernor.com. And again, sponsor a commercial. Let's get this done. It's going to take a little. But we have what we have. We only need enough. And if we don't have what we may want, then let it be it. We just work harder. And that's what we've always done. I have the most amazing campaign team. I love them. And thank you guys for working hard. And everybody else out there working hard. This is how we take back our state. We the people, united for Washington State. Better future for our children, our grandchildren, and all future generations. All right, we'll talk to you next week. And I'll see you in the campaign trail. I'm going to be at Whaling Days tomorrow for their parade tomorrow morning. And then I'm going to be in Wenatchee tomorrow evening. And I don't know where I'm going to be Sunday, but I'll be in someplace else for church on Sunday. So take care, everybody. God bless, and we'll see you next week.